Good morning, students. You are welcome to another edition of the Rock Online Tutors. And I'll be teaching us government today. So, walk with me. The 2024 UTME is fast approaching, and we know you guys are searching for competent, excellent, and reliable platforms where you can be adequately prepared. Don't look any further. The Rock Online Tutors will fill the gap for you. We will do what? We will make learning easy for you. Now walk with me. Today we'll be considering the topic called power. Power. What is power? In the field of technology and physics, power has to do with the ability to carry out a particular work, the ability to do work. Power has to do with strength in and exertion of energy. But when we cross over to the field of social sciences, specifically in the field of government, power goes beyond that. Power has to do with the ability to make people act in a certain way. I'll take that again. Power in government has to do with the ability to make citizens act in a certain way, even if it is contrary to their desires. Did you get that? Will people obey power? Yes. What if they don't feel like obeying? As long as it is power, they will obey. So power has to do with three basic things. Power is an ability. Aside from an ability, we can say power is a capacity. And power also has to do with capability. So I'll take that again. So, as I was saying, power has to do with ability. If you see any question in JAM, the ability, the capacity, the capability, your mind should be tilting towards power. But if you don't choose power, but let your mind tilt towards power. Now, ability to do what? Capacity to do what? And capability to do what? That's where we will now know that the question is truly talking about power. So if you see the ability to command obedience, the answer is power. The use of command. Command is not something that begs. Command does not placate. It doesn't appeal. Command is about force. So that's another key word, key indicator. The ability to command obedience, the capacity to use force to generate obedience. There is another word that you need to take note of that can help you to know that the answer is power. When you see coerce, the use of coercion. When you see compel or compulsion, the ability to compel people to act in a certain way is known as what? Power. How about the use of reward? You can also use reward. You can also use sanctions. You can also use punishments. So what am I trying to do, students? I'm trying to make this very effortless and easy for you. So that if you see ability, capacity, and capability, and you now see either of these, the answer is what? Power. Now let me give you a definition for power. Power is the ability or capacity to make people act in a certain way, even if it is contrary to their desires. So you can also say it is a capability to generate obedience, even when people who don't really want to obey. So that's power. Mind you, the keywords: compel, coerce, command, sanction, use of force, reward, punishment, etc. Now there are two words I need to reiterate again. Coerce is associated with coercion, while compel is associated with compulsion. So if you see the use of compulsion to generate obedience, the answer is still what? It is still power. Is that clear? So power doesn't beg. Power threatens. Power tells you that if you don't obey, there is a punishment. Are you getting that? Power will give you a reward that will make you not to be able to say no. Power commands. Power doesn't appeal. So whenever you are seeing the use of force in a way that that doesn't give people option, the answer is what? Power. Even though we have an inverse to power, an opposite to power, and that is authority. While power will command, coerce, and compel, authority will persuade. Authority will influence. While power is hard, authority is what? It is soft. But before we get to authority, let us finish this dismantling power first of all. Now let us go to forms of power. Forms of power. So, before I go to forms of power, let me state this again. When you see a question like this, the use of naked force. Naked force. The answer is also what? It's also power. So, the first form of power that we have is military power. Military what, students? Military power. You see, that power that resides in the hands of established soldiers of the states is known as what? Military power. Are you getting that? Now, how will these soldiers or armed forces of a state, how will they use or put this form of power to use? Through the use of weapons. So if you see a question that military power can be exercised through dash, the answer is weapon. If you see a question like this, that the type of power that can be exercised through weapons or weaponry is known as dash, the answer is military power. Now, what if we don't see weapon? What can we choose? So you can choose weapon, you can choose arms, ARMS, you can choose guns, you can also choose barrel. So, we have single barrel, we have double barrel, and so on and so forth. So, the second type of power, we have physical power. Physical what? Power. Physical power doesn't have to do with guns, doesn't have to do with weapons. This one is just about physical build-up and endowment. Are you getting now? When you see people who go to the gym regularly, when you see them, appearing before you, there's a way they are built up that if they are to threaten you, you will obey. When you see someone who is so blessed, from a place of constant and regular exercise and gymnastics, when you see such a person with focal biceps and triceps, with a lot of built up muscles, and the person asks you to leave the road, even without carrying a gun, wouldn't you obey? You will obey. Why are you obeying? Because of the physique. There is a power the person possesses in his physique, such that he can inflict pain or punishment if he disobey. So, how can physical power, how can it be identified? It can be identified in strength or might or ability. So physical power in strength or might or ability. Now to the third type of power. This type of power is known as political power. Political what? Power. How can political power be identified and exercised? Through ballot or election. Ballot or election. So the type of power that is possessed and exercised by those in positions of authority or those who are holding public office in trust for the citizens, that type of power is known as political power. How is it possessed or derived? Are you getting through the ballot, through election, through franchise, through suffrage, and so on and so forth. Now the last type of power is called economic power. Economic what? Power. Now this type of power, it doesn't use guns, it does not use might, it is not generated through ballot or election, but it is possessed and exercised through the item called wealth. Wealth or riches. wealth or riches. If you come across a wealthy man who informs you to go and do a certain thing, and it tells you that if you do it, I'm giving you $5 million. Like, that is power. Like, is he appealing to you? He is dangling something before you, something that will weaken your moral conscience and make you to do such a thing. Even if it's not something you would really want to do, but the weight of the wealth, the volume and the strength of the riches, it is a form of power known as what? Economic power. So with this, we come to the end of power. Please don't forget, students, to subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Rock Tutors. And if you have not subscribed, you can hit the like button, you can subscribe. And we also have great content on our YouTube page, on our TikTok page, on our Instagram, and on our Facebook page. And as the 2024 UTME is fast approaching, we have packaged an online class. There will be online classes that students can subscribe for. So before the end of the year, we're going to roll it out with the subsidized course that is entailed. Thank you very much, and have a great period.